So today we shall see about the cerebellum. So the cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain. So what are the structures which comes under the hindbrain? They are the cerebellum, pons and the medulla oblongata. So the cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain. It is situated in the posterior cranial fossa. So the skull has three cranial fossas: the anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa and the posterior cranial fossa. So the posterior cranial fossa accommodate the brainstem and the cerebellum. The cerebellum is the largest part, and the posterior cranial fossa is composed of three bones, that is the occipital bones and two temporal bones. So the cerebellum comes in the posterior cranial fossa. So it is located behind the pons and the medulla oblongata. It is the infratentorial structure. So infratentorial means, see, this is the tentorium cerebelli. So the dura mater has four folds. So the tentorium cerebelli is one of the fold of the dura mater. So this tentorium cerebelli divides the cranial cavity into supratentorial and infratentorial compartments. So the cerebellum comes in the infratentorial compartment, and the main function of the cerebellum is it maintains the tone, posture and equilibrium of the body, and also the cerebellum controls the same side of the body. So now let's see about the relations of the cerebellum. So anteriorly, so here is the cerebellum. The anterior relations are, so it's related to the fourth ventricle, pons and the medulla oblongata. Posterior-inferiorly, so posterior-inferiorly, it's related to the squamous part of the occipital bone. Superiorly by the tentorium cerebelli. Now let's see about the external features. So the cerebellum contains two cerebellar hemispheres. Look here, the cerebellum contains two cerebellar hemispheres that are united by the median vermis. So this area is known as the vermis, and it has two surfaces. So this is the superior surface and here is the inferior surface. The superior surface is slightly convex. The two hemispheres are continuous with each other on this surface. So the anterior surface of the cerebellum, look here. So the anterior surface of the cerebellum is marked by a deep notch. So here is a deep notch in which the pons and medulla are lodged. So each hemisphere, each cerebellar hemisphere is divided into three lobes. So look here, this is the anterior lobe. This one is known as the, so here is the anterior lobe, and this is the middle or posterior lobe, and the smallest lobe is known as the flocculonodular lobe. So the anterior lobe is divided from the posterior lobe by the fissura prima, and the middle lobe is separated from the flocculonodular lobe by the posterolateral fissure. Now look at this diagram. The cerebellum is divided into numerous small parts by fissures. So first fissure is the horizontal fissure. Here is the horizontal fissure. So the horizontal fissure separates the superior surface from the inferior surface. Next is about the primary fissure. Here is the primary fissure. The primary fissure separates the anterior lobe from the middle or the posterior lobe. So this is the anterior lobe. These all posterior or the middle lobe. So the primary fissure divides the anterior lobe from the posterior or the middle lobe. Next is about the posterolateral fissure, which separates the posterior or the middle lobe from the flocculonodular lobe. Now let's see about the parts of the vermis. So we have already learned this is the vermis. So now let's see about the parts of the vermis. So these are the parts of the vermis, and here are the vermis has many lateral extensions. So these are the lateral extensions of the vermis. So that they comes under the subdivisions of the cerebellar hemispheres. So first let's see only about the parts of the vermis. So here is the lingula, and the lingula doesn't have any lateral extension. So here next is about the central lobule. Its lateral extension is known as the ala. Next part is the culmen. Its lateral extension is known as the quadrangular lobule. Next is declive. Its lateral extension is known as simplex lobule. Next is folium. Its lateral extension is known as the semilunar lobule, that is the superior semilunar lobule. Coming into the inferior surface, this vermis part is the tuber. Its lateral extension is the inferior semilunar lobule. Next is the pyramid. Its lateral extension is the biventral lobule. Next part is the ula, and it has lateral extension known as the tonsils. Next is the flocculus. Its lateral extension is known as the next is the nodule. Its lateral extension is known as the flocculus. Now remember with the mnemonics. See, L, it starts with L. So the mnemonics is: Laila called cardio doctor for the treatment of pneumonia urgently for her niece. Listen again. Laila called cardio doctor for the treatment of pneumonia urgently for her niece. So for the lateral extension, that is for the subdivisions of the cerebellar hemispheres, listen this mnemonic. Anna Queen is simply superb, but she used to eat ice creams like babies, so she caught tonsils. She catch tonsils frequently. Anna Queen is simply superb, but she used to eat ice creams like babies, so she catch tonsils frequently. Now let's see about the morphological and functional divisions of the cerebellum. So first let's see only about the morphological divisions. So it is divided into this is archicerebellum, and next is about the paleocerebellum, and next is the neocerebellum. First let's see about the archicerebellum. It is the oldest part of the cerebellum. Even it is found in the aquatic vertebrates. So it includes the flocculonodular lobe and also the lingula. Here is the lingula. So it controls the axial musculature, and also it is used for movements, and also the movements used for locomotion. Next is about the paleocerebellum. So the paleocerebellum is made up of the anterior lobe and also the pyramid and ula of the inferior vermis. So it controls the paleocerebellum. It controls the tone, posture and crude movements of the body. Next is about the neocerebellum. It is the newest part to develop. It's made up of the posterior lobe and also the inferior vermis except the pyramid and the ula. It controls the fine movements of the body. And functionally also there are classifications. Functionally, by the horizontal planes, it's divided into 3 zones: lateral zone, intermediate zone and the medial zone. The medial zone is formed by the vermis, and there is another one zone known as the flocculonodular lobe. So this is the functional division of the cerebellum. So the lateral zones are colored in purple. So the lateral zones are involved in planning, programming and coordination of the muscles in the distal part of the limbs. Next, the intermediate zone in yellow color. So the intermediate zone is concerned with the control of the flexor group of the muscles and also the limbs. Next is the median zone, that is the blue color part, vermis. So it is concerned with the control of the extensor muscles and the hip, shoulders and neck. The flocculonodular lobe is an extra lobe. So about the connections of the cerebellum, the fibers either entering into the cerebellum or leaving from the cerebellum are divided into 3 peduncles. So here is the superior cerebellar peduncle. So these fibers either leave or enter the cerebellum, and these peduncles are connected to the medulla, pons and the midbrain. So here is the superior cerebellar peduncle, this is the middle cerebellar peduncle, and here is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. You can see in this diagram also clearly, this is the posterior of the position of the, this is the posterior view of the cerebral peduncle, cerebellar peduncles. So look here, this is the superior cerebellar peduncle, here is the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Next, let's see about the position of the cerebellar nuclei. So there are 4 cerebellar nuclei. Here is the dentate nuclei. Next is the emboliform nuclei, globose nuclei and nuclei fastigiae. And about the neurons of the cerebellum, there are 5 types of neurons. Among them, these are the basket cell neurons, stellate cells, Golgi cells and the Purkinje cells. So these are inhibitory neurons, only the granular cells, so these are excitatory neurons. Now about the blood supply of the cerebellum is supplied by the superior cerebellar artery and the anterior inferior cerebellar artery, which are the branches of the basilar artery, and also by the posterior inferior cerebellar artery, which is a branch of the vertebral artery. And one more thing to remember is, if there is a defect in the flocculonodular lobe, there will be truncal ataxia, and if there is any defect in the anterior lobe, leads to staggering gait, and the defect in the middle lobe leads to defective speech or scanning speech, which is in the form of broken syllables.